I fought alone against thousands of cavalrymen for several days. After elevating my brother Ishel to the pinnacle of power, I faced the most ruthless betrayal. Although I repelled one siege after another alone, I was ultimately outnumbered and gravely wounded. How marvelous! You are indeed his younger brother, Lord Cyan Vert. Hearing this, I glared at him. Who ordered you to do this? Boris. Hearing this, Boris grins at me. Is it the Emperor of the Empire? Mist slowly covers me. This shocked Boris. That vile black mist. So the rumors are true. You're an assassin belonging to the mist. With my roar, magical power furiously converged within me, and a terrifying pressure spread all around. The mist is truly fog that casts a pall over our order of light. I shall make a report that I quashed a heretical rebel. I sneered. By all means, if you still have a mouth to do it with. But I'm warning you now, you're not going to have a single tooth left when we're done. If you're thinking of escaping by using a secret technique, you can forget about it. I've cast a level 9-star magic barrier here. Hearing this, I thought to myself, I have to get out of here somehow and tell my brother. We have to figure out who's behind this. Barrier or no, I'll raise it all. However, the next moment, Ishel's appearance interrupted me. I looked at him incredulously. My brother, the eldest of the Vert family, the person I swore to serve until death. The one behind this was my brother Ishel. Seeing this, I fell on my knees. Your eyes tell me you don't understand why I'm here. Silence filled the air for a moment. What does this mean? Brother, you've performed your duties well, Cyan. For our family name, for the people, and for me. Hearing this, I was utterly shocked. For decades you've shouldered the weight of this duty, and now I'm here to lift that weight from your shoulders. I clenched my weapon. I don't understand. Did I do something wrong? Hearing this, Ishel glared at me. Do something wrong? That sinister fog. You are no longer human. You are now nothing more than a vile murderer. You've been deceiving us all this time. Do you truly claim not to know what heinous sins you're guilty of? From Ishel's accusations, I heard heinous sins. Murderer. I gritted my teeth. How dare you? The feud over the imperial crown, the suppression of the demon army, the war for the unification of the continent. I helped you succeed in everything you started, because dedicating my life to you was also for my own good. Serving the family was my mission, and it was these blood-stained hands that propelled the family to the highest supremacy. Yet, my dearest brother chose to betray me. After I worked for you like a dog for 20 years, I don't care if I destroy my own body. I thought as my blood continue on dripping. Since you treat me this way, then let me show you as long as I can destroy you. Seeing this, the knights were utterly shocked. Impossible. How could he still have this magic left? These powers are beyond human. You're the supposed great hero of the continent, and yet you're so scared of your own younger brother that you feel the need to kill him. Have you no shame? Hearing this, Ishel was speechless. I unleashed all my magic, ready for a desperate strike. Ishel was able to block my attacks several times. Just one hit. One hit is all I need. If I just hit a vital point, that won't be able to heal. But the next moment, the light of the 9-star magic circle flickered, suppressing all my powers. They were so well prepared to deal with me. Just then, a cold longsword pierced my body. My weapon fell on the ground. I was hoping to give you a peaceful send-off. You are my brother, after all. But you really did reveal your demonic nature. I recognized your true nature long ago. Ishel's voice was devoid of emotion. I'm glad I never trusted you from the start. Hearing this, I was utterly shocked. As the longsword was withdrawn, I felt all strength draining from my body. Ishel walked out without looking back. Damn it, is this my end? Yet the sensation of death could not suppress the wrath in my heart. What a foolish and wasteful life. I am not willing to give up. A surge of intense hatred boiled over, and I unleashed my final strength, lunging at Ishel. Die, Ishel. Then, I aimed my weapon at his neck. After a flash of golden light, I was reborn 20 years ago. I was gasping for breath. Just when are you going to get up? It's time for you to get ready. I opened my eyes and saw the short-haired maid I hadn't met in over 20 years. Emily, what are you doing here? She looked exactly the same as the last time we met. What are you talking about? Lord Cyan, have you been dreaming? Yes, I remember. This is my room when I was a child, and the furniture is just where it used to be. Did I really get reborn? Am I a young boy again? Just then, Emily called out to me. Lord Cyan, it's because you don't want to go to the sparring match, isn't it? Gather up your courage and go. Hearing this, I was confused. Sparring match? What sparring match? This is the castle of the House of Duke Vert. I'm sure of it now. I'm back at the castle of the past. Both my appearance and physical strength have returned to the state they were 27 years ago. Is this my life flashing before my eyes? The vivid memories from my previous life still felt like a lifetime ago. I remember this day. This is 27 years ago. It was 1 year before I entered the academy. There was a sparring match held at the beginning of each month in our territory. It was an immensely important event that my father, the Duke, observed in person. My opponent was Krantz Vert. He was my half-brother, the same age as me. His mother was Margaret Argeus, the Duke's legitimate wife, which is why, despite us both being the youngest out of 4 sons, Krantz received more attention, while I was just an unnoticed bastard. It was on this day that I lost to Krantz, becoming the laughingstock of everyone, and thus forever lost my father's attention. If this is really 27 years ago, then in this life, I will never allow the same thing to happen again. But just then, I was shocked. It's only a rapier, and it feels this heavy. I'm back to my feeble 10-year-old self. This definitely does not feel like a dream or my life flashing before my eyes. And I've never heard of any kind of magic that can create this kind of illusion. Have I really gone back to my past? Just then, Krantz sneered. How courageous of you. I was sure you wouldn't show up. The heavy feel of the longsword in my hand fueled my intense desire to control my own destiny. In this life, my fate is mine to command, not dictated by the heavens. As the command to start rang out, Krantz immediately launched a fierce attack on me. Where are you looking, idiot? My disregard completely infuriated Krantz, but what he didn't know was that his attacks seemed as clumsy as a snail to me. With just one slight move, he was shocked as I easily dodged his onslaught. Can you only dodge, coward? I ignored his taunts and precisely interrupted his attacks time and again. Then I kicked his knee. Krantz felt an intense pain, then he tumbled to the ground. Seeing this, his mother was shocked. At this moment, I just needed to lightly place my sword at his throat to easily win the duel. But is that really enough? In my past life, Krantz always took pleasure in bullying me, and this bullying even continued into our academy days without stopping. So this time, I decided to completely defeat him, shatter the pride he took so much in, and ensure he never dared to provoke me again. This time, I'm going to live only for myself. Eventually, I won the duel and had Krantz beneath my foot. Father even postponed his previously planned journey and made time specifically to see me. I must have made quite an impression on the match. He even had his personal high knight and bodyguard Jerkin escort me to his office. Just then, I saw the Duchess. She must be coming from the infirmary because of her son. She looks royally pissed. I smirked and asked, is Krantz okay? Duchess, how dare you? After what you did to your own brother. How truly brazen of you. I moved past her. It was a sparring match. What do you expect? Now, if you'll excuse me. Before I could finish, she interrupted. This is why they say you shouldn't mix people below your class. Considering he comes from a vulgar womb, it's no wonder he's so crude. Don't you know how grateful you should be? You're lucky you're not groveling on the streets where you belong. She just crossed the line. Should I kill her? My lips curled up. I know a much better way of making her miserable, and I'll do it nice and slowly. You know I'm entering the academy with Krantz, right? Hearing this, the Duchess is confused. What are you getting at? Aren't you worried? You want Krantz to graduate with all his limbs intact, don't you? Hearing this infuriated her. The vile drivel you speak with that vulgar tongue. Before she could hit me, Jerkin interrupted. Forgive me, my lady, but his grace is waiting for us. We can delay no further. Please excuse us. She had no choice but to stop. Seeing this, I smirked. The Duke's orders are absolute, and I'm being protected by the knight who received the Duke's order. It certainly is reassuring to have a knight who doesn't bend even to the Duchess. I entered Father's office. Cyan, the youngest of the House of Vert, stand in your presence, your grace. This was the first time in 15 years that we had a one-on-one meeting. Duke Williers Vert, my father, the great lord who rules over Valias, the western territory of the Wuzif Empire. He is called by many the guardian of the continent, the great hero gifted with powerful magic and a sharp mind, and the one who stopped the invasion of the demons, the man who shouldered a duty that no one had asked him to. With unmatched strength and will, he bore a burden unlike any other. Until his death during the invasion of the Demon King, his only wish was for peace on the continent. But my view of him differs from others. As a transcendent individual with free will, he chose a life of service to others. What a foolish man. You dodged the sword, knowing exactly where it was going. Hearing this, I was confused. Pardon, when Krantz charged at you, you looked directly at the path of his sword and turned your body just enough to dodge it. When did you learn swordsmanship? Father's question was as direct and sharp as ever. I didn't, father. I simply trained by myself every night. The Cyan I know has no aptitude in swordsmanship, let alone any interest in it. Why had you never shown this talent before? I didn't intend to draw attention to myself, I said while scratching the back of my head. But you still defeated Krantz with all your might, didn't you? I just don't understand, why did you need to humiliate him after his defeat? Is such behavior necessary? Father's questioning puzzled me. Is this an attempt to judge my character? But I also realized that after my rebirth, my attitude towards life was changing. However, my hatred for Krantz, I couldn't explain to anyone. I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to show the world even though we share the same blood, I am still stronger than Krantz. Hearing this, father chuckled. My candor was appreciated by my father. He even praised me, saying I would surely become Ashel's most reliable supporter. Hearing this, I was utterly shocked. What? Assistance to Ashel? The memory of my death flashed before my eyes. Nothing's changed. Father was still as obsessed with Ashel. But in this life, I will not make the same mistakes again. State your wish, as a reward for your hard-fought victory. Father, do you know, my greatest wish is to destroy everything about Ashel. For this, I am willing to pay any price, even if it means sacrificing my life again. I'd like to go out to the front lines. Hearing my request, Emily was gravely shocked. That's what I told him, but nothing's been decided yet. Have you gone bananas? Do you have any idea what it's like there? It's crawling with hideous evil demon beast. Our territory is Valias, the westernmost region of the Wuzif Empire, and it is the only place in the empire that is referred to as the front lines. And the foremost area of the front lines is Lemia Valley, where the centuries-long war against the demons continues to rage on. Father was vehemently against me going there. Eventually, Father agreed to my request to go to the front lines, on one condition: I must become qualified to go to Lemia Valley within a month. I don't know by what criteria Father will measure my worth, but this is the first step in refusing the fate of my past life. In this life, I must firmly seize this 1 month. Just wait and see. Although at this moment, moment, my physical strength is still weaker than my peers. I am fortunate enough to still retain the combat awareness of my previous life. I tried to gather magic power as I did in my past life, though weak. The sensation was incredibly real. This time, I will definitely control my own destiny. Just then, someone suddenly burst in. This is the carefree sister of mine, Ellis. She immediately grabbed my collar. She apparently came because she heard rumors of my impending deployment to the front lines, worried that my strength would bring shame to the family. You must think yourself a real warrior just because you beat Krantz in a sparring match, and I won't have it. So, she came specifically to test my strength. We went to the rooftop. She declared that if I could last 3 minutes against her, she would allow me to go to the front lines. How absurd. Is this really necessary, sis? Never mind that. Let me just ask you one question. Then she turned more serious. Cyan, are you interested in carrying on the family name? I thought to myself, is that what this is about? Because I have zero interest in that. Ellis prepared to attack. It hasn't even been half a day since the last duel. What a chaotic day this has been. Then bring it on. I also wanted to see my own limits. She immediately lunged at me. Seeing this, I was totally shocked, but I neatly blocked her attack. Just that alone was enough to surprise her. Is she really not going to hold back against a brother who's 7 years younger than her? After all, she had been dubbed the next generation swordsmanship prodigy by the family since childhood. Not to mention, the gap in age and physical strength between us is so vast. I needed to anticipate the location of her attacks in advance and touch them with just enough force to have any chance of blocking her moves. You're better than I expected, dear Cyan. Ellis truly is a practitioner of real combat. With just one probe, she put aside her contempt. Oh crap, I'm screwed. Then she attacked me consecutively, not giving me time to prepare. Then she leaped up, and I was still able to block this attack. I accidentally unleashed a black mist shadow technique. Damn it. I gritted my teeth and twisted my sword blade. The impact pushed us back away from each other. If it weren't for the last moment when I twisted the sword blade, I might really have killed her. After all, every skill of a mist shadow assassin is designed to be lethal. Once deployed, it's a deadly move. And considering how weak I am, it's going to be impossible to keep fighting her while trying not to kill her. How much longer until 3 minutes? I gathered magical power to my sword, trying to compensate for my lack of strength, but I'm almost at my limit. The next second, she slowly began chanting a spell. The change in the air immediately shocked me. Was that a 6-star magic? Aqua Blade. I thought this was just a regular test of strength, but it turned out to be a life or death struggle between siblings. Is she trying to kill me? Ellis's competitive spirit was also aroused. I could clearly see it in her eyes. Even if I block that, I'm going to be blasted over the castle walls. But how could I bear to hurt this willful sister? Please, if you're nearby, come quickly and stop all this. What's taking so long? Please come out, Jerkin. Just after coming out from Father's room, that familiar presence appeared. Jerkin, have you been around all this time? He immediately blocked the attack, and with a bang, the impact leaves a blast. Then he turned his eyes to Ellis. Lady Ellis, don't you think your demands on the young master are too harsh? I breathed a sigh of relief. I thought you weren't coming for a second there. Ellis then came to her senses, hurriedly threw down her sword, and threw herself into my arms. I'm so sorry, Cyan. I must have lost my senses for a minute. I was just too worried about you going to battle. All I could think about was stopping you. Looking at this sobbing elder sister, I slowly curled up the corners of my mouth. Indeed, this is her. She always gives it her all, no matter what she does. She had been raised as a genius since childhood, excelling in all training categories at an S class, an elite among elites. Even in the Royal Academy, crowded with geniuses, she still shone the brightest, not just because of her astonishing beauty, hailed as godchild, but also due to the exceptional swordsmanship she developed from a young age, known alongside Ashel as the future guardians of the continent. But only I know it was because of her competitive nature that, in my past life, shortly after joining the Order of Light, she was brutally murdered. Ellis, my willful sister, I really miss you. I hugged her even tighter. In this life, let me be the one to properly protect you. I will never let anyone hurt you again. Ellis looked back at Jerkin. Sir Jerkin, aren't you my father's guardian knight? My father just left on a journey. I am following his grace's orders to protect Lord Cyan for the time being, my lady. But I had not told Lord Cyan, for his grace had told me to do it secretly. I noticed it as soon as I left my father's office. I wonder if he wouldn't have come out if I did a better job pretending not to notice. But why did father tell Jerkin to protect me in secret? As soon as my body relaxed, I collapsed into Ellis's arms and fell into a deep sleep. Ellis chuckled. He really is still just a child. The next day, Ellis returned to school. She had just come to see father before her graduation, while I stayed in my room, working hard to train my body. Realizing how badly I needed to build up my strength, for 2 whole weeks, I kept up with strength training. This is so frustrating. This body is still too young, too weak. I couldn't even make it past the 10th rep before I felt defeated. My physique used to be one of my strong points. I must get stronger. This should not be my limit. At that moment, the maid Emily brought in a package from Ellis. What is this? Why does it smell so disgusting? What she didn't know was that this bag contained Hellhound's blood. I took advantage of the fact that Ellis felt bad about our little duel by having her send some as a favor. This was a rare item that could only be obtained from Melania Valley, but it turns out that the rumors about it also being available available on the black market were true. Hellhound's blood, known for its pungent smell and burning properties, is considered highly toxic by the world. But what they don't know is it can also permanently enhance the drinker's strength and magical power. Most people believe this is just a myth, but based on my experience, this is absolutely true. I saw it worked in my previous life with my own eyes. My lord, are you really going to drink this stuff? Yes, I am. Don't worry, Emily. After all, I am the only man who can handle your dark cooking. This taste, it's really nostalgic. It reminds me of the first dish Emily ever made, that thing similar to mushroom soup, which almost stopped my heart. I slammed the bowl to the table. Compared to that, the taste of this blood is simply wonderful. After dinner, I called out to Emily, I'm going for a little walk. I want to test how well the Hellhound's blood worked. I walked out of the mansion and strolled leisurely, but I wasn't out just for a walk. I had been waiting for this moment for 2 whole weeks. The day that Jerkin leaves me to give his routine report. I often come to this place alone, not just because it's peaceful, but also because this is where Ashel once received his revelations from the God of Light. It is said that this land hides an ancient shrine, a place where magical power converges. So, right now, I'm the only one who knows about it. The truth is far more than that. Just then, the ground slowly crumbles. Ashel, never in your wildest dreams could you imagine what I'm going to do next. In the next moment, a path going underground opens. Shall we? I slowly walk down the stairs. It's different from when I came here before the war between gods and demons, 300 years ago, when all history was wiped from this land. This place used to be a shrine dedicated to the God of Light, Lumendal. Who could have ever imagined that a place like this was hidden in our own backwoods? There it is. I found it, the master of this shrine. August 19th, 999. Since creation, humans finally succeed in driving out the demon army that was occupying Valias. The humans were no match for the demons, but through the discovery of ancient relics called the weapons of the gods, swift victory was rewarded to the humans. One of these relics was Duran Dark, a holy sword blessed by Lumendal, the God of Light. This sword, known as the greatest aid in defeating the Demon King's army, even witnessed my death in the future, because the chosen master of it is my brother Ashel, whom I seek revenge against. It may just be that Duran Dark is somehow related to my return to the past. I slowly touched it, but it was just as I expected. Nothing's happening. Faced with this sacred sword that could drive countless people mad, I find myself utterly uninterested. All that did was put me in a bad mood. I should just do what I came here to do. But as the saying goes, when you walk towards the light, darkness follows closely, like a shadow. If you don't look carefully, you might think it's just the shadow of the sacred sword, but that would make no sense. There are no shadows here. Where there is light, there must also be darkness, and the shadows will guide my path. In fact, another room is hidden here, right beneath the altar of light. There lies what I truly seek. Old friend, long time no see. It's sure nice to see you again. The blade of the demon, Kram. This is my weapon of choice. Time to wake up, sleepyhead. Are you still sleeping in? The sun is already up. This familiar sensation instantly made me feel as if I were back on the battlefield. That thrill of sweeping through enemies. You're quite a daring boy, aren't you? Do you not know the consequences of awakening me? I don't know. Maybe this sword is mine now, I said uninterestedly. You've been foolish enough to awaken a magic sword, but it's too late for regrets now. Now, your body belongs to me. Then Kram lunged towards me. This voice, this figure. I gathered my magical power and firmly suppressed Kiram's throat. I don't recall you being this reckless before. Kiram, why can you touch me? I sneered. I told you, you belong to me. Hearing this, she immediately prepared to attack me, then slashed at me, which made me loosen my grip. Kiram immediately took this opportunity and moved back. Who are you? Could you be the successor? Why do I feel the energy of air on you? That's right, I'm air's successor. Now bow down, for your master has returned. Magic sword Kiram. Don't joke, you're just a kid. I will never accept it. Kiram roared and continued to attack me. At this point, words were meaningless. The ultimate goal of the magic sword is to take over the body of its user. This is its deep-rooted instinct. I have no choice but to defeat her. No matter how many times I repelled her, she would keep charging at me again and again. Damn, this will just go on forever. It seems I have no choice but to use that. Sword manipulation. Kiram's body instantly lost control and sank into the ground. I'm only going to say this once. I suggest you accept me as your master before I have used any more force. You little, how do you know that incantation? I continued chanting the spell, mercilessly tightening the bindings. How about now? Alright, at your command, my master. Finally, I have tamed this troublesome spirit. I have done what I wanted to do. I should probably head back now. I've been away too long. It's been a long time since I breathed outside air. How exhilarating. Kiram's mimicry finally looks much more pleasing. Hey, master, what's your name? Cyan Vert. Cyan, did air really choose you, a little kid, as his heir? I promptly affirmed without hesitation, but that was all in a past life. Kiram, now my symbiote, the only one I can confide in without reservations. Past life? What the heck is that supposed to mean? I died once before. Hearing this, Kiram was confused and thought, just who is this kid? After a long while, I returned to the holy temple. It's time to leave, but before leaving, let me first take a little of the interest on my revenge. Looks like this one's still asleep, Kiram stated. Its master probably won't show up for another 20 years. It sounds like you know something I don't, but I did not mind Kiram's words and immediately sliced on the Duran Dark's handle. Seeing this, this. Kiram is utterly shocked. What do you plan to do with that? I'm not sure yet, but this will definitely make the future more interesting. If you had a demon blade that grows stronger with every drop of blood it consumes, how much blood would you feed it? And my answer, naturally, is the more, the better. While mortals know to fear battle and retreat, I crave transcendence. With such a resolution, I came to the frontline battlefield with my father. Cyan, the youngest of the House of Vert, stands in your presence, your grace. I shall ask you one last time. If you want to back out now, I won't stop you. He still wanted to give me a chance to save myself. No, father. I feel my body and soul have already rushed to the front line. He said no more and commanded Jurkin to release it. The next second, Jurkin took out a magical scroll. Seeing this, I thought to myself, a magical scroll? Is he going to summon something? The next moment, a creature slowly appears. Just then, a hellhound stepped out from the magic circle. I slightly narrowed my eyes. A low-level demon beast from Lemia Valley. Sealing such a creature must have taken my father and the knights quite an effort to prepare for this test. They were already grabbing their weapons. It looks like they intend to step in once I fall into danger. You need to take responsibility for all your decisions. This is the fate of a soldier. Show us your resolve in the face of death. Hearing my father's words, the surrounding knights couldn't help but worry for me. Only Jurkin truly understands what I have been through during this time. Just how hard I've worked. Jurkin, who has trained with me multiple times, knows better than anyone how rapidly I have grown during this time. 3 days ago, you want to spar with me? Only 3 days remain until the day set by my father. I can't just practice swinging at the air, can I? I need some real experience. Can you help me? If you want to spar, shouldn't you do it with someone closer to your age, like Lord Krantz? Before he could finish, I interrupted. I don't know why, but Krantz keeps avoiding me. This puts Jurkin in quite a tough position. Well, if you insist, my lord. My face brightens. However, I shall only use my scabbard. I'll focus on defending, so please attack as much as you like. Thank you, Jurkin. By the way, I have one more request. Then I glared at him. You will not tell father a single word about what happens during our sparring. That's an order. Hearing this, Jurkin was confused. I immediately launched an attack and Jurkin successfully blocked it. That was a heavy blow. Impossible. How is a 10-year-old able to deliver such blows? Jurkin thought to himself. Lord Cyan is also incredibly fast. The next second, he was out of my sight and leaped up to attack me from behind. Fortunately, I was also able to block his attack over and over again. When Lord Cyan finally felt satisfied, he complimented me. It looks like I won't be able to beat you yet. Good work, Jurkin. Thank you for your help. Superb work, my lord. Jurkin complimented, but he thought to himself, when did the feeble Lord Cyan become so skilled? Hearing this, Cyan showed a smile of satisfaction. If my intuition is correct, the young master now is strong enough to overcome any test. This is the first time I am truly facing a battle of life and death. A flicker of excitement passes through my heart. As soon as the hellhound appeared, it immediately launched an assault on me. I sidestepped to dodge. With my current stamina, a prolonged battle is not in my favor. Therefore, I must make it quick and decisive. A strike to kill. I struck through its neck, then I leaped high, bursting with speed as fast as lightning. The knights were obviously shocked. With one strike, the creature was completely slain, and I thought, what a waste. That's several bottles worth of blood. But I don't want to risk everyone thinking I'm a weirdo. Do I? Maybe I should start carrying a cup. Magnificent, Cyan. Father started clapping. You've proven yourself worthy of going to the front lines. Then, I'll see you at the front. Seeing this, my father showed a rare smile, and his concerns for me finally eased. Thank you, father. After bidding farewell to my father, Kiram called out to me and suddenly started to complain. Do you take me for a kitchen knife or something? No, you're a magic sword. What a waste. Why didn't you use me? I need blood to gain strength. Please, let me have just one sip. Kiram, be patient a little longer. If I let you feast now, I'd surely be seen as a monster by those around me. I'm going to be using you a whole lot soon. Look forward to it. Then you should have woken me up then. Ogres. Ogres toward the northwest. Formations. Annihilate them quickly. Let not even one survive. Discharge restraints of salvation. The knights said in unison. The next second, the restraint of salvation is activated. Several glowing circle patterns appear on the ogre's feet. On the front lines, you never know when death will come. Especially here in the Lemia Valley. Father and his knights have never been complacent. Today, they are facing an onslaught of ogres. One knight prepared to attack an ogre and swiftly decapitated it. The timid maid Emily was already terrified by the bloody scene. My lord, why did you ask to come here? Aren't you scared? While looking around, I thought to myself, so I've returned. It's almost as if I've missed this place. I see it's still hellish. Father called out to me. How does it feel to be on the front lines? Cyan. I'm a little nervous, father. As you can see, a soldier can fall at any moment on the battlefield. You must never let down your guard. Father reminded me. I won't forget, father. This is just another day on the front lines. Here, battles erupt almost daily, 1 to 3 times, and every battle is fought according to detailed response protocols with skilled high knights playing key roles to prevent monsters from breaking through the defenses. I was placed in the safest position at the rear. The tent that I've been assigned to is the furthest one from the front lines, and with so many guards assigned to me, I can't find nourishment to feed Kiram. Am I really going to have to wait until night? Just then, I notice Emily trembling. What are you doing, Emily? You heard his grace. He said that we could die here at any time. If you're scared, then why don't you just pack up and go home? Are you kidding me? You're helpless without me. Emily's temper is still as fiery. My lord, you're even younger than me. On this monster-ridden front line, without me, you can't do anything. If I turn around and leave, who will take care of you? Saying this, she suppressed her fear and turned to prepare dinner. Emily, what about the cape? Watching Emily's retreating back, I couldn't help but mutter softly, should I send her away? It's like she has zero respect for her master. By midnight, I pulled out a dummy that I had already prepared. That should do it, I said after preparing everything. Just then I noticed Emily was awake. Are you going to exercise out here too, my lord? How industrious of you. His Grace would be proud. I'll be back. I'm counting on you as always. At the Duke's mansion, Emily often covered for me. As usual, after I had given my instructions, I quietly slipped away from the tent under the cover of night. Since this is the front line, the night guards are more vigilant. To slip away successfully, now is the only chance. Third stance of the Black Mist, foggy descent, success. If my memory serves me right, this spot is a high-risk area swarming with monsters. It's the perfect place to test Karam. Don't you agree, Karam? This intense smell of blood. I can already taste the blood. The feast of slaughter is about to begin. Master, I can't hold back anymore. Let me chop something down. Karam's voice is deep and excited. Monsters began charging at me. As you wish. Karam, cut away. Misty blade, foggy tempest. With the final technique clearing the field, I stab the monster's head and harvest its blood. I greedily drink the fresh blood. That hits the spot. Karam also felt delighted. I haven't felt this refreshed in forever. Perfect. We'll keep training like this. However, Karam answered, but it's going to take forever to grow strong fighting mutts like these. But it doesn't matter at all, because the night is still young, and I have many more monsters to kill. Meanwhile, on the other side, a carriage is on a journey with multiple knights on guard. The front lines are just too dangerous. It's not too late to turn back now, Your Highness. I told you not to treat me like a child. How many times must I repeat myself? I'm the Imperial Princess. I must assist my father, the Emperor, in his tour. Hearing this, the person talking understood. Yes, Your Highness. Just then, she suddenly remembers something. That reminds me. Duke Vert's youngest son is at the front lines, and they say he's the same age as Your Highness. Duke Vert took his youngest son to the front lines. She immediately asks. Not exactly. He volunteered like you, Your Highness. Perhaps you two can become friends. Before she could finish, the princess interrupted. I'm not interested. Never mind that. I'm going to sleep. Yes, Your Highness. However, after thinking for a minute, the princess asks, what is his name? It's Cyan. Lord Cyan Vert was his name. She immediately answered. Cyan, the princess mumbled. Then she looked out the window. Cyan Vert, is it? Time on the front lines is busy and fulfilling. Every day brings a new battle. Father beheads the last of the eagle monsters. Check for casualties. None were harmed, sir. The knight immediately answered, and only after confirming there are no casualties does he order a return to camp. Just then, Father noticed me. I just pulled out my sword from the monster's body and put it back on my waist, making sure the monster is dead. Father called out to me, have you adjusted to the life on the front lines? I immediately answered, yes, Father. Each day provides me invaluable lessons. Is that so? I had thought that you might ask to go home within a day or two. With a proud smile, Father continued, to think that you would stay so long. I am filled with pride for you. Seeing this, I was utterly shocked. While walking back, Father added, I have something important to tell you tomorrow morning. Come early to my barracks. I was dazed and thought, I've never seen that look on Father's face before, but I still agreed. A month of midnight hunting has brought me substantial gains, but it has finally roused a high-level monster that was slumbering deep underground. The death worm. Fortunately, I was able to dodge its attack. It usually feeds deep in the valley, but this intense smell of blood has clearly disturbed it. Its towering body rises from the ground. Master, you seem to be struggling. Why not let me take over for a bit? I promise, I'll make good use of your body and return it to you intact. I am very aware of the cunning plans of the demon blade Karam. Once I lose myself in her power, she will completely take control of my body. But the strength of a high-level monster surpasses everything. No matter how many wounds I inflict on the death worm, they heal immediately. Continuing at this rate will only result in repeated, futile attacks. Karam is right, but I am not some rookie who knows nothing. I've been training for a month now, and I've drunk the blood of countless demon beasts, but it is still not nearly enough. Seeing the beast that is about to attack me, I realize I have no choice. Since you want to take control of my body, then I'll play your game for a bit. Karam. Hearing this, Karam was delighted. Terrific. It's showtime. Ninth stance of the Black Mist, manifestation of the magical sword. Now, Karam, execute your plan. Let's go wild. Tear through its thick skin, completely shred it to pieces. Misty blade, 8 fluttering petals, heaven-shaking roar. The massive body of the death worm crashes to the ground. Only at this moment do I finally confirm that I really have become stronger. A knight touched the blood of the beast and confirmed that it's not been dead long. It's a powerful magic, sir. Could it be demons? If the demons were here, then we cannot just pass by. Search the area thoroughly and burn the monster's corpses. Father notices the sword wounds and thinks that it looks familiar. His eyebrows arched. Is this just a case on deja vu? Just then, Jurkin called out to him, Your Grace, you should see this. Jurkin lights the way, and seeing this, Father is shocked. Before he could finish, Jurkin confirmed, Indeed, Your Grace, it is a deathworm. But who can utterly butcher a deathworm like this? Just then, father remembers something. Could it be them? A few hours ago, I used a manifestation of the magical sword. By letting K-Ram take over my body, she is able to use her power to the fullest. But if I'm not careful, I can lose my consciousness completely. What was I thinking? How could I have used that technique just to kill one monster? I woke up and felt the aches all over my body. It's a good thing that for an entire month, I've been hunting monsters non-stop and drinking their blood. Otherwise, my body could have been destroyed. However, I noticed that K-Ram starts chattering non-stop. Now I understand. Your appearance is just that of a child, but your demeanor and actions completely contradict your face. And, for a novice, your proficiency in using and controlling me is excessively skilled, isn't it? Not to mention, you're so familiar with terrains you've never set foot on, especially your swordsmanship. You use the sword techniques like you've been training for at least 30 years. Didn't you say before that you had died once? Does this mean you're a reborn individual? I look at Kiram's smug reasoning face and can't help but act unserious. Haven't I already told you all this before? You didn't get me the first time? These words instantly ruffled her feathers. Well, it's not like you did a great job explaining it. In any case, it couldn't have been easy to kill someone like you. This means you must have been killed by the owner of Duran Dark, and it must have been one of the two things. Either there was a duel, or you were betrayed, and the look you give the sacred sword is like you stepped in dog poop. I should have guessed you didn't die in a duel. You died from betrayal, right? So, your goal must be revenge. But whether you've returned to the past, or you're out for revenge, remember one thing. You show even the slightest hint of weakness, and your body is mine. This is the partner I chose. Still, I mercilessly bestowed upon her a control spell. Know your place. I'm not that kind of fool. Seeing this, I smiled. K-Ram truly hasn't changed, still the same as in the past life. Then, I turned to prepare for my appointment to meet with my father. What's going on? Everyone seems unsettled today. But just then, maid Emily, looking worried, came up to me and told me a high-level monster's corpse was discovered near the camp. My heart sank a little. Could she be talking about the deathworm? It's the first time in a while that monsters of that level were discovered near the camp. Before she could finish, I interrupted. Anything else? Hearing this, Emily froze, confused about my question. Did they mention anything else? Like whether they noticed a suspicious person or anything about me? Before I could hear Emily's answer, Jerkin called out to me, Lord Cyan, His Grace is looking for you. This isn't good. When father and his men suddenly approached last night, I had to run without having a chance to do something about the dead monsters. I gritted my teeth. I was planning to stay under the radar until I entered the academy. I went to meet father. Cyan, the youngest of the House of Vert, stands in your presence. Your Grace. Father looked back at me. Good morning, Cyan. Father will definitely catch on. He's going to ask me about the disturbance last night. He gazes at me. Have a seat. Seeing this, I can't help but feel nervous. Have I been exposed? What excuse should I use when he asks me about the disturbance? Father, as always, direct and sharp. Where were you last night? I was tired, so I went to bed early. His gaze instantly sharpened. With his skills, he might very well recognize the sword marks on the corpses, and he might have already noticed my swordsmanship. Father, why do you ask? While looking at me, he thought, am I making too ridiculous of an assumption? It is difficult to imagine that a mere boy like this could have done that to a deathworm. However, ultimately, he relaxed his gaze and slowly began to speak. You must have heard about what happened last night near the camp. A high-level monster was killed. We are still looking into the matter, but it looks as if the covert group of assassins, the Mist, was behind it. Hearing this, I was shocked but remained composure and asked, the Mist? They are an organization that has existed in the shadows since ancient times. Father began to recount that secretive, yet to me, exceedingly familiar history. We do not know the true purpose of the Mist organization, but indeed, under the guise of purification, they have assassinated countless nobles. After the killings, they leave behind a mark like black mist. However, one day, they suddenly disappeared altogether. Their last activity stopped 300 years ago, but yesterday, the corpse of that deathworm was shrouded in black mist. Black mist is the mark left by the god of darkness, air, and also the source of divine power worshipped by the Mist organization. If my intuition is correct, the Mist slaughtered the deathworm and the other monsters. Incredible. Father, from just the sword marks, recognized the sword technique lost 300 years ago. To this day, we still do not know why they appeared here, but I hope you take care of your own safety. I am going to report this to the Empire and investigate it further. Yes, Father. Deep inside, I thought, it looks like he's letting me off the hook. Ultimately, he chose to trust me. He thought, how ridiculous to even think of linking Cyan to an ancient group of assassins. He's still just a boy. Now, have you heard who is visiting today? I've heard some talk about the Emperor making a visit, but was that today? I asked curiously. Father leaned closer. That's right, which is why I had a request to make of you. Confused, I ask, what request? Father, in a few moments, the horn is blown, which announces that the Emperor has arrived. Your humble servant, Williers Vert, Duke of Valias, greets your Imperial Majesty, the Emperor of the Empire. Upon seeing this, the Emperor flashes a smile, and then immediately goes down from his horse. Upon closer observation, he was not as unapproachable as the rumors suggested, but rather more like an old friend, not seen for many years. Old friend, what need is there for such formalities? Is this the child from the rumors? The Emperor's gaze turned towards me. Your humble servant greets your Imperial Majesty. I am Cyan Vert, youngest of the House of Vert. To see such a young boy living in such a perilous territory. Truly, those under your leadership are exceptional. Is this what he meant by his request? To make a show of being his son? In my past life, I had never experienced such warm treatment, nor had I ever met the Emperor so closely. I'm deeply moved by Father's confidence in me. It is propitious timing, for I, too, have someone I wish to introduce. The 5th princess of the royal family following the Emperor, Arancevalus. However, the moment I saw the princess, I couldn't help but recall, in my past life, her circumstances, the tragic 5th princess. A while ago, today, I am leaving the princess in your care, Father said seriously. Pardon? What do you mean by that? I curiously asked. There is no need to be taken aback. Just become acquainted with her. That is all I ask. Besides, you two are the same age. You will see her again in the academy, will you not? I do recall seeing Princess Erin at the academy in my previous life. Although we were both students at the same academy, we only met a few times during breaks. My father arranged for me to ensure her safety. I clearly understood the intention behind this arrangement, the hope that the solid friendship of the previous generation would continue with the new. The son of a duke and the daughter of royalty, both a continuation of friendship and an unbreakable political bond. I could not bear to reject this trust and goodwill. But father, what you don't know is you chose the wrong person. She won't be able to fill such a role. Although I can't be 100% certain, perhaps the future might indeed change because of my rebirth. But right now, I'm the only one who knows the future, so there's no way I can explain. It'll be a chore, but I suppose I don't have a choice. Just then, Princess Erin called out to me and suddenly asked, "Why is this river red?" I patiently answered, "This is the blood river that crosses the Lemia Valley. The reason it's red is pretty simple. The old or injured monsters, unable to continue in the harsh struggle for survival, choose to jump into this river. Then the magic in the river gradually decomposes their blood and bodies, turning the river red." Her eyes widened, her face in shock. "Are you saying this river is filled with the bodily fluids and blood of monsters?" "Yes, and the beasts also drink water and bathe in this river. It's very filthy, so your highness should stay away from it." "That's disgusting," she asked curiously again. "What is at the end of this river?" I calmly replied, "It leads to the demon world." "The demon world? Where the demon race lives?" "Yes, and if you follow this river all the way down, you can even see the demon king directly. Although, no normal person would do that." Teasing her, I found myself enjoying the banter in a different way. She pointed towards the distance, continuing to inquire, "What is that light in the sky?" "That's from the direction of the 3rd century post. It's yellow, which means they're fighting monsters." Hearing this, she was utterly shocked. "You mean monsters have arrived?" Just then, the air raid alarm suddenly blared. The normally orderly strategic deployment became tense with the Emperor's sudden involvement. The Empire values martial prowess, and the Emperor is no exception. "Now, don't be that way, Williers. Do you think I've come all the way here for a leisurely hike? Besides, I was growing quite bored." Father sighs. "Very well, sire. The Imperial troops will join in subduing the demon beast. Your priority from this point on is slaying the monsters." I was also instructed to return to my post. Hearing this, the princess was shocked that I could fight monsters and inappropriately requested to join the fight. "Take me with you. I'm the same age as you. Then I can go, too." Seeing this, I thought to myself, what is this brat saying? Now is not the time for anyone to cater to her competitive spirit. This is a battlefield, your highness, not a playground. "I don't care. I'm going, and no one can stop me." I snapped and called out, "Jerkin, Jerkin, escort the princess to a safe area." "Yes, my lord. Your humble servant Jerkin will act in place of the Imperial Knights and escort her highness safely back to camp." "Shall we, your highness?" Jerkin asked as the princess looked at him. "Shameful. How can you treat a princess like this? This is why I dislike her." I couldn't help but roar. "Princess, do you know, because of your little whim, how many knights will have to pay with their lives for your stubbornness, and how many soldiers will die needlessly? A small oversight is enough to decide life and death on the battlefield. Can you bear all of this? Can you take responsibility for the lives of all these warriors?" Princess Erin, at this moment, had tears in her eyes. "If you're going to cry like a child, then you better go back now, your highness, because I know very well the battlefield is for those who are aware of their duties. It's not a playground for children. The great battle is about to erupt. Stand your ground. Fend them off. Formations." Father commanded. "Protect the Emperor at all costs, and slay them all. Leave no survivors." The battle began. Emperor Dion Sevalus of the Wuzif Empire had 2 wives. The first was Empress Diana Quizzle, who is now dead. His second wife is the current Empress, Empress Cassandra Nephilis, an outstanding judge recognized by the Empire. The previous Empress had given birth to a prince and a princess, and the current Empress had given birth to 2 more princes. But the 5th child, Princess Erin Sevalus, was born from a common concubine. Due to Erin's status as an illegitimate daughter, she has always been viewed differently, seen as a dispensable ornament of royal power. But she was not one to care what others thought of her. She performed all the duties expected of an emperor's child and diligently applied herself to her studies. But in a past life, there were those that did not look kindly on this, and she was still framed by those with ulterior motives as a traitor, stripped of her royal princess status, and ultimately expelled from the empire. She would then die from an illness, alone on the frontiers affairs of the empire. For this reason, she was called the tragic princess. If she had just lived an average life without ambition, she might have lived out her natural lifespan. Hearing this, Kiram was confused. Isn't that what your father used to say to you in your former life? She and I are different. Politics around the imperial throne is relentless, is what I'm saying. But I have to say, I'm impressed by the emperor. As the emperor unleashed a spell, Holy Lightning, the defense of the camp finally came to an end. We successfully repelled the monster's attack. The emperor's performance in battle was as skilled as that of a true warrior. Emperor Dion's magic level is 8. I can't help but wonder, being emperor might just be his hobby. With his magical prowess, he might even be more suited to be the president of the Magic Association rather than the ruler of the empire. But in private gatherings with my father, more than his role as emperor, what he cares about more turns out to be his duty as a father. My father doesn't touch a drop of alcohol on the front lines. This leaves the emperor lamenting the loneliness of drinking alone, and he genuinely admires his discipline. However, when the conversation turned to the current state of the empire, the emperor's expression showed a hint of worry. Recently, there has been a surge in the assassination of nobles. When father asked anything in common on the assassination, it turns out that all the assassinated nobles were in the secret list of corrupt officials. Such incidents still caused panic and anxiety in the situation, and at every assassination site, without exception, all of them left traces of black mist behind. Father said in a deep voice, "We also found similar traces around the camp. It seems that the followers of the black mist have started moving again. The situation is becoming more complicated." The emperor thanked father for his diligence and expressed the need for further investigation. "I am grateful that they have taken out the trash, so to speak, but we cannot sit idly by as unease grows within the empire." But more importantly, he had another concern. Rumors have already started spreading between the court and the people. Some are accusing that the turmoil in the empire is the fault of Princess Erin. Impossible. You mean to say they're trying to link that young girl to that dark organization? The emperor has been suppressing these baseless claims, but now, some facts can already be confirmed. Certain hidden forces are trying to manipulate Erin. So, at this moment, he spoke not as the emperor, but as a friend, solemnly. "If I die before you do, swear to me that you will guarantee Erin's safety." Father nodded solemnly and made this promise. "Your humble servant, Williers Vert, do swear upon his honor." The day's battle finally ended, and my first assignment to guard Princess Erin ended not on a high note. When I returned to the tent, Emily looked at me in disbelief. "Is that it?" I looked at her, confused. "You wanted something more? But we're talking about the Imperial Princess. You just ended her escort like that?" Emily added, "Master, with your straightforwardness, you're going to stay single forever." But I wasn't supposed to go on a date with the princess. I didn't want to elaborate. As usual, I instructed her to cover for my outing. "You're going to train? In this rain? Don't worry, just go to bed." Just then, a figure appeared in front of my tent. Emily jumped out in shock. It was Princess Erin. "Were you heading somewhere? I'm sorry, but if you're not too busy, could you spare some time to chat with me?" Before I could react, Emily had already invited her into the tent. "How long have you been at the front?" Princess Erin asked. "About a month, Your Highness." I bluntly interrupted the princess's small talk and got straight to the point. "What do you need from me?" Probably in her life, no one had ever been so direct and rude to her, so she paused. Erin asked Emily to give us some space, so she and I could be alone. But Emily, on her way out, deliberately dropped a comment. "Of course, enjoy your time together. Gossip between two 10-year-olds. Are you really that interested, Emily? There's zero chance of romance happening here. I'm 40, for goodness sake." After Emily left, I didn't expect Erin actually took the initiative to apologize to me, feeling guilty for her previous capricious behavior, saying that such actions were unbecoming of her royal demeanor. I also apologized for my rudeness. She chuckled. "Not at all. I think I would have responded the same way if I were in your shoes. Unlike me, people recognize your talent and you're much more mature. In a past life, I never had a close relationship with her. Only now do I truly understand her character. Does she want to be friends with me?" Erin continued. "You're going to enter the Royal Academy too, right? I hope we can get along." Before she could finish, I interrupted her again. "I'm sorry. I think I won't be of any help to you. If you just want to make friends, please leave." For a 10-year-old girl, my attitude was too cold and harsh, but I have my reasons for all this. Erin finally couldn't bear it anymore, looking at me with tears in her eyes. "I just want to get along well with you, but you are too harsh. Do you also think that I am just an empty shell with a royal title?" Seeing this, I was speechless. "You really think being friends with me has no benefits?" I apologize for wasting your time. I think I was too naive. I thought we could at least have a decent conversation, but I see now that you're completely different from Lord Ishel. Hearing that name, my eyes widened. Ishel? I suddenly grabbed Erin's arm too forcefully, causing tears to well up in the corners of her eyes. "You just mentioned Ishel. When did you meet him?" My reaction clearly frightened her. "Last year, when visiting the Royal Academy, he advised me not to mind what others think. Just be yourself." I couldn't help but recall my brother Ishel's style. I know better than anyone. Ishel is kinder to people than anyone else, but beneath that gentle mask hides a devilish will. It must have been from the first moment he saw Erin. Evil thoughts were already brewing in his mind. A plan to manipulate and harm Erin was already taking shape. Poor fifth princes, still cherishing the kindness of Ishel, that venomous snake. Allow me to give you my own piece of advice. suffice, Your Highness." Just then, the ground shook. However, before I could speak, Emily rushed in frantically. "My lord, you must run." But arriving faster than her alert was the attack of a high-level monster. A high-level ogre has appeared at the rear of the camp. Truly surprising. These monsters shouldn't be able to break through the defense lines and infiltrate the rear camp. Curses! That's Lord Cyan's tent. Quickly, we must check if Lord Cyan is unharmed. Seeing the tent crumbles to the ground, Emily helplessly cried out, "My lord!" The news of the attack reached the Emperor and my father. They were both in shock. "What did you just say?" the Emperor asked. "High-level monsters have attacked the rear encampment near the border, sire, and it appears the princess was caught in the attack." Hearing this, the Emperor immediately released an order: all the Imperial soldiers to the rear encampment. See that the princess is unharmed. However, he thought to himself, why would the princess go to the border? Who would she want to see there? The ogres were smashing the tents. First the death worms, and now ogres. Why would monsters that only appear deep in the valley suddenly show up in droves on the border? We were hiding from the ogres. The current situation is entirely different from what I know. Something must have happened that didn't happen in my former life. Everything seems highly unusual. Did it happen because of me? I thought to myself, but Emily called out to me just then. "My lord, I thought you were dead for sure." Emily's expression was extremely animated. "I will never leave your side again." A while ago, the roof was blown open. I quickly tackled Aaron to the ground, avoiding the falling beams. In my past life, I used to raise down demon armies. I can't be done in by a mere troll. Princess Aaron, however, is still concerned about the safety of the guard knights. "Do not worry, Your Highness. The knights are very strong." Emily encourages her. "This wouldn't have happened if I hadn't come here. What have I done to those poor knights?" Aaron said, blaming herself. "But the guards have not died. They have also arrived at the scene now." Two Imperial knights solemnly promise, swearing to protect the princess. "He's right, Your Highness. We will protect you with our lives." But they didn't notice. "Look out!" I shouted. Behind them, a giant demonic claw stealthily strikes, grabbing one of the knights, killing him instantly. The situation is very critical. I immediately rushed in front of Aaron. "I have a duty to ensure her safety." "Stand back, Your Highness. From the beginning, I have been suspecting all this abnormal behavior might be because of me. These monsters, it's as if they smelled something." I was right. Their target is not Aaron. He's after me. I'm going to distract the troll. You all take the princess and leave. As soon as I gave the order, the first to move was actually Emily. She fled at an astonishing speed, as if she had been ready to escape at any moment. Who was it that said, "I'll never leave you, Emily"? But now, I can't afford to think about it any longer. The ogres' attacks came one after another. I fought the ogres while retreating, but my mind was filled with questions. Why are these high-level monsters drawn to me? It seems like they're following my scent. Did you finally realize? The demon blade, Kram, let out a sinister laugh. "You've drunk too much demon blood to grow stronger. No matter how far apart, the monsters can smell it. That strong scent on you." Kram was right. But why is she telling me this now? Have you forgotten? What I've always wanted is your body. This troublesome creature needs a good knock again. What do you think you're doing? Please be gentler with me, Kram shouted while I asked her to shut up. "No matter how many times, no matter what your purpose is, I will not run away. Bring on however many monsters I need to slay." I suddenly leap up, launching the fiercest strike at the giant ogre. Crashing down, the massive body of the ogre finally falls. Now, since there is no one else around, let's taste the blood of a high-level monster. This will surely be a feast. However, the next moment, a huge gust of wind breaks the silence. A colossal creature stands atop the valley. In disbelief, I look at this sudden monster. "Wait, is that a devil dragon?" Kram immediately corrected me. "That's just a young dragon. I guess it was also attracted by your scent." I became completely excited. The reason for the dragon's appearance here is utterly unimportant, because it too is on my menu. Demon form manifest. I'm not missing out on a chance like this. I must capture this magic dragon and devour it. Meanwhile, on the other side of the camp, the Emperor leading the knights finally defeated the last of the high-level monsters invading the camp. Only then did he finally have time to worry about the safety of the princess and myself. Everyone couldn't help but feel concerned about this. Although rescue orders were issued immediately, the safety of the two children at the rear still weighed heavily on the hearts of both fathers. However, no trace of them was found around the tent. "There is no word about my son. Forgive me," the Emperor spoke in a somber tone. "I believe you are also very concerned about the safety of your son." But the Duke's response was incredibly calm. "Don't worry about him. What's most important right now is the princess's safety." "How cold of you. As a male of the Vert family, he should be able to protect himself." During the conversation, the princess finally arrived safely. "Sire, we found the princess." "Father!" Aaron shouted as she saw the Emperor. She immediately threw herself into the Emperor's arms, crying and pleading to go rescue me. "Save the Duke's son. It's all my fault. Calm down and explain clearly, child." However, Aaron cannot calm down, so father decides to ask Emily instead. "Tell me, what happened to Cyan?" Seeing this, Emily trembled and thought, "How terrifying. I've never seen the Duke look so stern." Then she explained what had happened. Through the narratives of Emily, everyone finally understood that to cover their retreat, I had voluntarily stayed behind as bait. The Duke's face turned ashen. Beneath his indifferent exterior, the father still subtly showed his concern for me. The guard knights proposed an immediate rescue rescue mission because they remembered the last location of the incident. What are you waiting for, Williers? Hurry, the Emperor added. However, to everyone's surprise, my father actually refused the proposal. The Emperor and Aaron are totally shocked. Williers, you can't be serious. The most important thing right now is to quickly repair the army's defense line. If the camp falls, then the monsters will invade the entire empire. We must make haste to rebuild this post. This is the only way to prevent further casualties. His tone was calm and resolute, shocking everyone present. My son has fulfilled his duty. He helped the princess to successfully evacuate. This is the consciousness of carrying the Vert family name. The whole place was silent. Aaron was plunged into deep guilt and self-blame. Is it because of me again? However, at this moment, a roar that echoed through the valley shocked everyone. That sound is that. Everyone looked up to the sky. Under the blood-red moonlight, a dragon with wings spread wide flew across the sky. Its huge wings covered the entire sky. A dragon. But what shocked everyone even more was, on the leg of the dragon, there was clearly a figure. Cyan was tightly clinging to the body of the dragon. Dragons are a rare and noble species called the life form closest to the creator. They are so rare that one might never see one in their lifetime. They are transcendent beings that lower beings like humans can never hope to approach. Surely, I'm honored to have met such a distinguished being, and this is my opportunity. But why is it flying directly over the very people I want to avoid? Aaron immediately noticed me and called out my name as loud as possible. Good heavens, a dragon. But Williers, why is your son clinging to it? What are you doing? Aren't you going to save him? Hearing this, father is thinking of a solution. Damn it, I was planning to end this after drinking the dragon's blood. Who knew things would get this complicated? The first time I saw this dragon, I realized this is an opportunity one cannot miss. I must devour it. This will surely be a breakthrough in my power. However, standing between me and the dragon are countless high-level monsters. You small fry can get lost. You're not worth the time. Misty Blade, Foggy Tempest. With my enhanced strength, my control over the Mist Sword skills is even more adept. I truly have become stronger. The monsters standing between me and the dragon have been thoroughly swept away. I landed perfectly. Finally, I stood in front of it. This is indeed a not fully grown young dragon. You can tell from its size. Suddenly, a tremendous light flickered inside its mouth. The next second, a scorching dragon breath surged towards me. I quickly dodged to the side. Indeed, it is proud and powerful, but this also ignited my fighting spirit. So we just met, and you spit at me? I'll repay you with a sword to your face. I leaped high, and my massive slash accurately hit the dragon's eye. A piercing dragon roar echoed through the skies. However, the next second, the dragon, enduring the pain, charged at me ferociously. Its long horn, terrifying like a drill, suspended in midair. I had no space to dodge. Was it so cunning as to intentionally expose a flaw to lure my attack? Sorry, a mist assassin isn't just a dodging shadow, but a madman who fights defensively. 8 fluttering petals technique. Ascending dragon. Utilizing the continuous flashes of my skills, I turned retreat into advance, furiously adding wounds to the dragon's body. But just from this round of combat, I realized maybe it's a little early to slay a dragon. Just the effort of striking has already caused my shoulders to ache, and the dragon has not yet sustained a true mortal wound. But my fighting spirit hasn't lessened at all, because I still hold the advantage in speed. Even if it turns into a war of attrition, the final victory will still be mine. Now, it's time to end all this. The demonic dragon lunges at me again, but I've already fallen for its feint once. This time, I won't be fooled. I brace myself. However, the next moment, the demonic dragon suddenly turns away, flying off into the distance. It actually chose to flee. In that instant, I was completely caught off guard. Do you so trample on the proud lineage of the dragon race? Come back and fight, Rufus. I naturally wouldn't allow it to escape easily. Such an opportunity would not come again. I leapt into the air, clinging to the body of the demonic dragon. However, just encountering it might have already used up all my good luck. It only flew towards crowded areas. The demon blade K-Ram kept urging me to act, but I knew that once I used the demon's power, what awaited me was definitely the stake. K-Ram grew more and more impatient. What about them? You pulled me out. Finish the job. I can't use a magic sword with all those people watching. They'll burn me at the stake. Do you hear me? Then what are you going to do? Stay latched on here forever? Quiet. I'm still thinking. However, the next moment, the noise below interrupted our argument. Father, to stop the dragon's rampage, was actually going to use a level 8-star spell, Heavenly Flying Sword. Seeing this, I was utterly shocked. Doesn't he know that I would also be caught in the spell's range? I will definitely die if I get hit. Father, you truly live up to the title of the continent's guardian, firing heavenly flying swords at the demonic dragon, the only one of your kind. The demonic dragon also realized the danger, frantically dodging in the air. At that moment, I also completely changed my stance. Brother dragon, well done. Keep up the evasive posture. Don't stop. My life was now tied to that of the demonic dragon. It looks like we're almost clear. However, the next second, I fell into despair again. I don't think this dragon can dodge this one. The massive impact of the attack came, and I plummeted to the ground like a kite with its string cut. Damn it, I can't believe I just lost a delicacy like that. What are you doing? Why aren't you flying? Are you waiting to kiss the ground? Kiram's anxious voice urged me, but I still did not want to reveal my demonic form in the high skies under everyone's gaze. Come on. on, you're about to die here, Kiram furiously said. As the speed of the fall increased, I finally spotted a glimmer of hope. Hey, maybe I won't have to die after all. Kiram also saw the river of blood. Master, you wouldn't want to plunge into that river full of filth, would you? I'm strongly against it. It's not like I have much of a choice, do I? I plunged into the river, which indeed smelled terrible. On the other side, someone notices the devil dragon. A devil dragon? That's a rare sight. It looks to be a youngling, sire. It must have lost its way and paid for its blunder. Then there must be strong monsters over there. Actually, sire, humans live over that border. Hearing this, he immediately looked at the border. Humans? But there's no way that a dragon would lose to a human. Then the Demon King fell silent for a moment. Is something bothering you, sire? I sense a strange energy from that direction. Strangely foreign, yet familiar. And his demon butler was even more aware. That direction was the human boundary. Since humans and demons were still at peace, it was not appropriate to cause any trouble. If you would like, you may go take a look, sire. However, you must refrain from extinguishing anything in your sight out of boredom. The Demon King readily agreed, but his body had already flown hundreds of meters away. Meanwhile, I was able to survive the river of blood. Finally climbing ashore, I sat and leaned my back on the rock. The pain is slowly coming to me. Then, I finally realized that I was extremely exhausted. Just then, I called out to Kiram. Are you still alive, Kiram? Kiram had gone into shutdown mode. Don't talk to me right now. I'm currently considering how to kill you. Don't worry, Kiram. We'll clean up once we get back. So, you are thinking of going back. You'd better look sharp. We're in the demon world now. I was startled, but still managed to offer some reassurance. Don't worry, we won't encounter any higher demons here. However, the next moment, a voice interrupted me. I knew there would be something interesting waiting for me here. My eyes widened. I recognized that voice. It's a voice I could never forget ever. He looked down at me. You there? Are you human? It was the Demon King of the demon world, Valkyrian. In my past life, everyone who had seen the true face of the Demon King said he was the incarnation of evil, and having always been his enemy, I agreed even more. But now, the one appearing before me seemed different from my past life's impression. Why aren't you answering me? I'm asking you if you're human, but seeing your stance, are you looking for a fight, kid? Without hesitation, I swung my sword, but didn't even graze him. He still appeared nonchalant. I've heard you are a person of limitless potential. It seems the rumors are true. I internally assessed the gap between my enemy and me. Facing Demon King Valkyrian, I had no chance of winning. The only viable option was to run, and even the chances of escaping successfully were less than 20%. At that moment, I also began to doubt whether I could survive the Demon King, but the next moment, I was shocked as he asked me to relax. He said, take it easy. Even though I'm a bastard, I wouldn't hurt a child. I really won't do anything. Look, I promise I won't do anything. If you're scared, we could even lie down and talk. I was internally speechless. Why is he lying down? I was not expecting the Demon King to be so talkative. Now I'll ask again. You're a human, right? Hearing this, I confirmed. That's right, I got caught in the current. Then this must be your first time in the demon world? Your aura is a bit strange. Are you really just an ordinary human? I immediately responded. I'm just an average human. Hearing this, he smirked. But it feels like you know me well. I responded again. This is my first time seeing you. He, however, stated, we indeed couldn't have met before, because this is also my first time seeing a human. Seeing his relaxed demeanor, I couldn't help but wonder, is this really the Demon King I remember? I asked, why are you here? When I was patrolling the territory, I felt a strange energy. Patrolling? I asked additionally. As the Demon King, I am granted the power to patrol the lands I rule. Then he froze. Kid, did you hear what I just said? I mindlessly repeat what he said. As the Demon King, I am granted the power to patrol the lands I rule. And that doesn't surprise you? I'm the Demon King, he asks confusedly. Then he snapped. Haven't you heard of the Demon King's name? Didn't your mother mention when telling you stories that if you're not good, the Demon King will take you away? Seeing his demeanor, I couldn't help but grimace. This couldn't possibly be the Demon King I knew. If it aligns with my previous life's trajectory, the Demon King's invasion should be happening soon. But the way he is now, he just doesn't seem like someone who would do such a thing. If his current behavior isn't an act, then something very important must have happened to change him. Just what could have made him change like that? Thinking this, I asked him, if you're really the Demon King, what do you want to achieve as king? Asking such a question was indeed bold. His lips curled up. You're really something, kid. But he answered me, I have no special demands. I just hope that my people eat well and live well. But even such a simple request, if someone tries to stop it, I would eliminate them all. After all, that's my duty. In that instant, I indeed saw the shadow of the Demon King from my past life on him. It was just for a passing moment, but I felt it. The cold-blooded Valkyrian that I used to know. He's being restrained right now, but something must eventually loosen him from his chains, and I have to stop whatever that is from happening. Do you want to make a deal? Hearing this, he was confused. I threw out my proposal. Something threatening your people is about to happen soon. What in the world are you going on about? You're not making any sense. I don't know the specifics, but it will lead to a war between humans and demons. Are you saying I'm going to start eyeing your land? He asked in an irritated tone. That's why I want to make a deal with you. I immediately answered, promise me, no matter what happens, you cannot start the war. Although my words were baseless, my earnest demeanor still moved him. Even if I believe everything you say, what can you offer me in return? He questioned. Facing his skepticism, I stood firm. I will help you. No matter what happens, I will do my absolute best to assist you. Valkyrian looked at me carefully again. You know something, don't you? Then he chuckled. Tell me your name. I am Cyan Vert, I firmly said. He nodded and made a promise. All right, Cyan Vert, you have my word as Valkyrian, the lord of the demon world. No matter what happens, I will not invade human territories. He added, but you must also keep your word about helping me, because for demons, contracts and promises are above all else. I nodded, indicating I fully understood. At the moment we exchanged names, the contract was signed. I didn't expect the Demon King to agree to this deal unless his heart truly didn't want to start a war. After the deal was made, I trekked for several days and finally returned to Valia's. Good heavens, Lord Cyan, it's a miracle. I let the search team find me, and I was returned safely. After being rescued by the Border Patrol, I also earned another nickname, the one that survived the Devil Dragon. I was placed in a temporary military hospital, and during my recovery period, Princess Erin came to my room alone, and her words shocked me. I thought things would keep flowing along without any further incidents. I'll say it again. Will you become one of my people? She confidently asked. Even though she was flustered, this statement left me stunned and full of confusion. What is this princess even saying? I flatly refused her. No thanks. Hearing this, she was utterly shocked. Then tears began to gather in her eyes. Right, of course you wouldn't. I'm the fifth child of the Emperor. I have no power. Undoubtedly, she is the kind but powerless good person. But more than that, her strong desire for affirmation, always comparing herself to me as a peer, troubles me even more. After my rebirth, I already knew that this princess was a dead end. But with an attitude like that, it's obvious what will become of her. But at the same time, I can't help but shake the thought that my bastard brother Ashel was behind it all. This isn't for Erin's sake. For this reason alone, I won't just stand by. But even so, my response is still blunt. You're right, Your Highness. You really can't bring me any benefits. In fact, anyone in your position could only do so much. You have no political influence and always do many things at inappropriate times. If I get too close to you, it will only be endless trouble. However, I'll watch and see until the day Your Highness does have something to offer me. I look forward to you becoming better. You'll watch and see, she muttered. Yes, but don't be too disappointed, as there is no guarantee. However, before I could finish, she interrupted. Her reaction was unexpected. She quickly recovered from my stinging words. I understand perfectly well. You're saying that as long as I improve to a certain extent, you will acknowledge me, right? Just wait and see. I don't know when, but I promise you'll recognize my value. I was internally speechless. Typical childlike temperament to be so quickly cheered up again. I'll be looking forward to it. Before leaving, she suddenly stopped. And one more thing. Thank you for coming back alive. I mean it. A few days later, in a forest at a rear camp on the front lines, a man was moving quickly. He looked around, making sure no one was following him. Just stopping to rest for a moment, he took out a mini dimension box. A smile flashed on his face. I'm close. A chilling voice suddenly came from behind him. Is it you who has been smuggling demon blood from the front lines, Reynold Crimson? He panicked, finding himself immobilized by a strange force. The next moment, I emerged from the woods. A mini-dimensional box. I guess it hasn't become a widely known artifact yet. Such small dimension boxes, just by inputting magical power, can support an infinite storage capacity. This item is from the hands of the Garum Kingdom's Academy of Sorcery, but as far as I know, they shouldn't yet be on the market at this time. Throughout the year, I had been investigating the source of the demon blood circulation, but it was not until I saw the dimensional storage box in Reynolds' hands that I understood how they had been eluding my sight, moving from the front lines to the rear. I took the dimensional box from his hands. So this was how you were doing it. I'll be taking this. Reynold Crimson, 7-star sorcerer knight of the Garum Kingdom. When he was able to recognize me, he was utterly shocked. Your Lord Cyan Vert? But what are you doing here? He added, and when I opened the dimensional box in front of him, remnants of magical beasts spilled out. You take the blood from the body of these monsters, and then you load them into the supply carriages that cross the Empire border, right? And you must be working with someone who works in the supply route. Faced with such damning evidence, Reynolds still denied it. There's no need to play dumb. This demon blood has already been circulating in the black market. My sister Ellis was probably able to get that hellhound's blood, thanks to him. At this moment, Reynolds was terrified. He knew now was not the time to pursue who leaked the information, but the thought of killing to silence someone was wildly growing. Feeling his body gradually able to move, he couldn't wait to raise his hand. Die, kid. You've walked into a dead end. Feel the heat of the flames. As the breath of fire was released, the flames exploded, sweeping through the entire forest. I thought I was dead for sure. It seems the rumors about the young master are true. Reynolds watched everything before him burn to ashes, slowly feeling the fear of a narrow escape. He breathes a sigh of relief. I didn't expect to be driven to this point and to have lost the precious dimensional box. Who would have thought something like this could happen while delivering monster's blood? However, in his moment of negligence, a sword light fell, severing his arm. He was gravely shocked. He pressed his wrist, and a terrifyingly dark mist appeared before him. Could it be the mist? His surprise was forever stuck in his throat, as I had already seized his throat. In a cold, unfluctuating voice, 2 choices. 1. Confess the spies and smuggling routes and die comfortably. 2. Descend into a miserable abyss, unable to die. suffering endlessly. Choose wisely now. After ending all this, I went to the trading post on the west border of Valias. Two people nodded at each other, signaling the secret trading. It looks like it's 2 boxes this time. Then I think we'll be able to keep a few more for ourselves. How many do you think are in this box? He said while slowly opening the box. Seeing what is inside the box, both of them were gravely shocked. I delivered Reynolds' head to his rendezvous point. Sir Reynolds, who could have done something like this? I watch everything unfold in the distance. You're going just to let them go? Karam curiously asked. Yeah, that should serve as a warning. Reynolds Crimson, 7-star sorcerer knight of the Garum Kingdom. He smuggled the monster's blood from the front lines into the Wuzif Empire. These smuggled goods flow to the Academy of Sorcery in the Garum Kingdom. All magic enthusiasts gather at the Garum Kingdom's Academy of Sorcery. They are dedicated to studying the origins of magic and its improvements, a group eager to transcend human limits. Currently, they are making some rather useful items, like dimension boxes, but in the near future, these research fanatics will do many crazy things with demon blood. Karam, puzzled, asked, are you trying to switch your profession from an assassin to a problem solver? Your actions are somewhat selfless now, which seems to conflict with your creed of living only for yourself. I answered coldly, shut up, Karam. I just don't want anyone else to use demon blood. Meanwhile, at a manor in the Wuzif Empire, someone is unhappy while reading a report. Cyan Vert went with father to the front lines? Cyan Vert? You mean your half-brother? Yes, he gnaws at my mind. I think it's time I go pay him a visit. I finally ended a year of life on the front lines and returned to the Duke's mansion. Emily cheered for this and showed immense anticipation for the upcoming academy life, but I couldn't muster any interest. Having lived through one life, I clearly know that the academy is not the happy paradise Emily is hoping for, but rather the beginning of a hellish life. It's filled with intrigue and politics, jealousy and competition dominate the academy, and politics and relationships take precedence over education itself. But Emily is unaware of this, still dreaming of rumors about handsome instructors and hoping for a beautiful encounter. Does she think she's coming to the academy with me? I'm finally back at the household. I walked out and noticed that it seemed not much had changed here. Just then, I noticed Krantz. As soon as he saw me, he was shocked and trembling, and before I could exchange a greeting with him, he ran away. Karam couldn't help but tease. Who was that clown? I waved my hand, signaling her not to bother. That's Krantz, a half-brother. Don't worry about him. How is it that you don't seem to get along with any of your family, including even your father? That is not true. At least my relationship with Ellis is not like that. But there's one person in my family I definitely don't get along with. The door to the mansion slowly opens. When it finally opened, a lot of servants came to greet me. This puzzled me. No one ever gave me a second glance before. Now they're being too polite. It's almost as if they were greeting father or that scumbag. A lot has changed in just a year. I guess all my hard work paid off. The next second, as I pushed the door, my eyes widened. This familiar aura. Could it be? I couldn't stop my body from trembling uncontrollably. I slowly opened the door. Yes, just behind this door is that scumbag. Ishel. He still had a benign look on his face. I've been waiting for you to come back. My dear brother, do you remember me? Well, it's no wonder, considering our last meeting was before I entered the academy. Stay calm. But my trembling hands and eyes bursting with rage betrayed my inner turmoil. I quietly summoned the demon blade. I wanted to kill him. However, Karam stopped me. If you don't want to die here, pull yourself together. You won't gain anything by killing him now. Reason slowly returned to me. Can I kill him now? This bastard, always regarded as a genius. I stand no chance in a direct confrontation, but to assassinate him stealthily, that death would be too good for him. I composed myself, forcing calmness, and bowed respectfully to him. Cyan, the youngest of the House of Vert, stand in your presence, eldest brother. So you do remember me. How could I forget my own brother's face? I'm glad to hear you say that. He even affectionately stroked my head. I silently endured this humiliation, and my desire for revenge grew stronger. I was actually worried that you might have forgotten me, but I'm glad you haven't. I've heard your swordsmanship has improved rapidly. I believe you'll be able to be a great help soon, not just to the family, but to me on the battlefield as well. With this, I immediately answered, yes, I'm also looking forward to it. Seeing this, he fell silent momentarily, then added, that sets my mind at great ease, for I came here solely to meet you. I knew very well that Ishel was the kind of person who wouldn't give you a second glance if you were useless to him. Since he sought me out for this reason, it actually calmed me down. I echoed him, I've also missed you, brother. But inside, I scoffed. Thank goodness. Emily's sudden intrusion interrupted this insincere conversation. Damn it, he doesn't bother with any manners at all, leaving it all to me. I'm exhausted. Then she put down my luggage. My lord, must you really go ahead by yourself? Oh, sorry, lord, are you here too? Ishel smiled reassuringly at Emily, indicating she need not be nervous, and mentioned he had heard how close we were as master and servant, which is quite enviable. Emily respectfully saw Ishel off, but then turned and yelled at me. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. Lord Cyan, you should have told me Lord Ishel was here. Once Ishel had left, I could no longer hide my fury. Emily, I just want to be alone for a while now. Don't disturb me. Emily is puzzled and asks again. Do not make me repeat myself. Seeing this, Emily agreed. I immediately rushed into the bathroom, that insincere conversation making me nauseous. Karam, why did you stop me? Karam's voice was filled with mockery. Shouldn't you be thanking me? This would have been a good opportunity for you to take over my body while I was in a frenzy. Don't get it wrong, I actually want your fury to grow. That'll make it taste even better when I devour it. I smirked. That's more like you, K-Ram, always so unforgiving with your words. Meanwhile, on the other side of the mansion, Ishel's attendant was reporting, as per your instructions, we have located the whereabouts of the second young lady. She is now in Pruina, my lord, at the northern end of the continent, the land of the White Elves. Ishel pondered silently, lost in thought. The White Elves are known for their disdain for outsiders. Surprising that she managed to establish herself there. Indeed, her ability to connect with people worries him more than her swordsmanship skills. Keep monitoring everything about her. The attendant obeyed but then asked, was there any felicitous occurrence, my lord? Ishel immediately asked, what makes you say that? The attendant complimented, you look even more radiant than before. Was your meeting with the young master enjoyable? Ishel burst out laughing. Enjoyable? Not exactly. It's more interesting. In fact, I'm in a terrible mood right now. Ishel's smile was strained, sending a chill through the attendant, who quickly apologized. And the reason Ishel was in such a foul mood was because of my eyes. That look, as if staring at a lifelong enemy. Whether that fleeting expression was an illusion or not, it greatly irritated him. He ordered the attendant again, keep an eye on everything about him. Whatever he's hiding, I must find it out. Ishel looked by the window in deep thought, and the image of our encounter flashed in his mind. Cyan, what could you be hiding? Finally, it's time to set off for the academy, but Emily is utterly disappointed. My lord, I won't forget this letdown, because the academy only allows one night attendant, not a maid. Right now, she is complaining to me about her dissatisfaction, but there's nothing I can do. Seeing that I am about to depart, Emily looks even more disappointed. Are you just going to leave like this? I know she hopes I would say a few poignant words to comfort her, but I remained silent, saying nothing, as my carriage slowly pulled away. That's it, he's really going. Emily finally couldn't hold back and shouted, young master, take care of yourself. Even if you're bullied at the academy, don't get discouraged. Please return safely, my lord. That's good old Emily for you. I had forgotten whether it was when I was 8 or even earlier. I fell seriously ill, my fever unrelenting. At that time, no one cared whether I lived or died. In and out of consciousness, the person who carried me on her back, knocking on doctors' doors in the pouring rain, was Emily. She was only a few years older than me at the time. Helpless, she ran through the rain crying. If not for her, I would have long since died in some corner of the Duke's mansion. She is someone I cherish. To me, Emily is far more than just a maid, but I, who am not good with words, have never expressed these feelings. Even when saying goodbye, I just smiled and said, Emily, behave at home, or I'll have to kill you. Emily pretended not to hear. What? It's too far away. I can't hear you, my lord. I withdrew my gaze, lost in thought inside the carriage. 6 mid-level knights just to escort one person to the academy. Isn't that too many? I have a feeling that some bad things are waiting for me ahead. As dusk approached, the convoy stopped in a forest. 2 knights nodded as if sending a signal to each other. Just then, I heard a knock. The leading knight came forward to report, young master, I think we should camp here. Is that so? How far have we gotten? We are near the midland city of Saffron, my lord. We expect to reach the central city of Saffron by tomorrow morning. All right, if everything is ready, come and inform me. After he left, my expression turned grim. He was lying. There are no such forests near Saffron. Besides, this place is too remote and not a good spot for camping. It seems they are ready to make their move. In just a moment, the report everything is ready came. I calmly stepped out of the carriage and commented, the air's nice here. But seeing the 6 knights had already drawn their weapons and surrounded me, I stopped. I want to know, who is orchestrating all this? What met me was only silence and sneers. Seeing one laughing, I repeat my question seriously. I asked you who told you to do this. You don't need to know these things anymore. The dead don't need to be curious. 2 more knights follow him. It really is a shame. But please know it's nothing personal. We promise to uphold your honor. Just stand there quietly, and we will make death come less painfully. After speaking, he leaped high, swinging full force at my neck. He angered me. The next second, a headless corpse flew high, drifting in the air. Everyone watched incredulously. Now I ask again, who put you up to this? Amid the knights' terrified gazes, chills send down their spines. Why are you all standing still? Did you not anticipate being killed when you planned to kill? The coachman was utterly shocked. I can't believe what I'm seeing. The remaining knights finally reacted, grabbing their weapons to try to resist, but it was useless. The blood-red sword light flashed continuously. Each flicker harvested a knight's life. That dazzlingly beautiful sword light, like the tolling of death's knell. In an instant, only one survivor remained. He turned and fled, no longer having the courage to fight. The next second, I threw the demon blade, and the last knight fell. This snapped the coachman, who had been standing frozen, back to reality. Can an 11-year-old really do this? Is this why he survived after battling the demonic dragon? The coachman collapsed to the ground, muttering, this mission was doomed from the start. This young man is simply unbeatable. As he watched my approaching figure, he finally broke down, shouting, it was the Duchess Margaret. She's the one behind all this. I stopped, frowning. Was all this too easy? Driven by a strong will to survive, he continued to confess. It was Lord Krantz who asked Lady Margaret for help. We inferred the truth from the rumors of discord leaking from the mansion. I remained silent, recalling the sight of Krantz fleeing in panic. I silently silently noted this grudge, but did not act on it immediately. Just then, the coachman called out to me, "Young master, what do you plan to do with me? You're going to kill me too, aren't you?" Hearing this, I spoke. "You don't seem too attached to your life." The coachman suddenly spoke up. "We tried to assassinate you first, so if you kill me, it would be justified. I have no right to resent." Hearing this, I instead decided not to kill him. Besides, his driving skills were indeed good. Just drive well. There's a difference between being useless and having no value to survive. Hearing this, he can't help but be thankful to me. Finally, we're here, I announce. Saffron, the Midland City. Meanwhile, at the Duke's mansion, Lady Margaret was furious. How could this go wrong? 1 missing, 6 dead bodies. Yes, Your Grace, and Lord Cyan left Saffron safely 10 days ago. You said everything would go without a hitch. How could this happen? Faced with such harsh criticism, the butler could only endure silently. We underestimated the young master. There must be someone helping him from behind. If you give me another chance, I will send people to the academy. Shut up. Lady Margaret cut him off sharply. She recalled the scene of me defeating Krantz. At that time, she had cursed my mother, and at our farewell, I had also given her a warning. The terrifying look in my eyes came back to her. You want Krantz to graduate with all his limbs intact, don't you? This kid, he'll definitely make a move against Krantz. Stop it. Don't do anything. Also, eliminate all those who know. Make sure no one knows about this. However, she was unaware that someone hiding in the corner was listening to everything. It had been 10 days since I left Saffron. Brian was still playing my servant, and news of my attack and escape must have reached the Duke's mansion, since she hasn't arranged any additional assassinations. This means I will also safely arrive at the academy. I'll have to think about what to do with Brian. Lord Cyan, we've arrived. Right, good. Stepping into this academy once again, I can't help but feel that things have changed. The memories it left me are definitely not fond, but I must say, it has changed me in many ways. I handed over my family crest at the academy's registration desk, but even this simple action made the young receptionist nervous. She told me I needed to stay in a designated dormitory and participate in the opening ceremony and basic test within 2 days. Seeing her actions, I was confused and thought, is there some kind of problem? When I saw the key she handed me, I was also somewhat surprised. Is this serious? Are you sure this is for me? The coachman, Brian, who accompanied me, dropped my luggage and was even more astounded. My lord, what is this place? The dormitory assigned to me was the royal suite. In the history of my family, no one has ever been assigned here. There must be someone orchestrating all this from behind, but I can't figure out who at the moment. It's time to deal with Brian. He has been carrying out the work of a subordinate for me throughout the journey. Your job is done. Seeing me reach into my sleeve, he was already sweating coldly. Although he had served me diligently throughout the journey, he had also been terrified the entire way. Was he finally going to kill me? But the next moment, what I pulled out was a bag of gold coins. He was puzzled and asked, "What is this?" "Your payment. Wherever you decide to go next. This money should be enough for you to start anew. Of course, for your own sake, it's best not to return to Valia's." Watching my departing figure, Brian stared blankly. The next moment, as if making a decision, he suddenly knelt on one knee, solemnly swearing, "I, Brian Kendrick, official knight of Valia's, ask for Lord's permission to serve him for the rest of his life." So, he wasn't a coachman but a knight? He awkwardly explained, "As a lowly knight, I can only work as a coachman, but my father taught me, if I find someone worthy of a lifetime of loyalty, I should serve them without hesitation." I retorted directly, "What a foolish idea." Hearing this, he looked up. "Aren't you worried that one day I might stab you in the back?" He stammered, "Even if you do, I will still." I cut him off. "Don't betray me." The first order I gave him was, "Do not wake me up for the opening ceremony. I will only attend the attribute test." "Yes, my lord." Then I left him there so I could rest. Meanwhile, in the Chancellor's office of the Royal Academy, Instructor Siriko was reporting the attribute test data to the Chancellor. Among the data, a few students stood out. Aaron Silverus, magic level 2 stars, physical level B, attribute 52% light. Seth Shaharkin, magic level 3 stars, physical level A, attribute 71% sand. But the most unbelievable was this boy, Cyan Vert, magic level 1 star, physical level S, attribute 92% darkness. This data caused a wave of shock and silence. Even Ellis Vert, who was known as God's child, only had a water affinity of 88% at graduation. Kundal Kusal, Chancellor of the Royal Academy, also intrigued, said, "Even our most talented student to date couldn't reach such a level. Yet, her younger brother has." The instructor said worriedly, "The attribute is darkness, and the characteristic of darkness is chaos." This indeed warrants attention, but the Chancellor then dropped an even more significant piece of news. His dormitory has been assigned to the royal suite, personally appointed by the Emperor of the Empire. Hearing this, the instructor is utterly shocked. The Chancellor continued, "This child saved the 5th princess from the front lines, and the Emperor intends to arrange this marriage. Do you know what this means?" The Chancellor's voice became grave and hoarse. The 5th princess was assumed to be out of the running in the fight for the imperial throne, and the most talented offspring of the Vert family joining together. What do you think would happen to the Empire? The instructor, shocked, replied, "This will surely intensify the conflict over succession. The Empire might split, or even erupt into a civil war. However, we don't need to consider that far yet." The Chancellor added calmly, What we need to do is witness all this, to see whether this child brings salvation or destruction to the Empire. A 92% darkness attribute. What will all this bring? My dark element affinity in my previous life only reached 85%. It seems, drinking too much demon blood is the cause. As I was deep in thought, I bumped into Krantz. Seeing someone who was supposed to die halfway must have terrified him. At this moment, his companion also spoke up. Is this the kid you always talk about? The one you can treat as a slave? At this, Krantz wished he could silence him. Popper Fenelon, a marquis son from the Garum Kingdom, spoke. I heard you don't even know who your mother is. In my previous life, he used to bully me as much as Krantz did. How fortunate to meet him here today. He ignored Krantz's attempts to stop him. Move aside. This guy needs to be taught a lesson. Krantz tried to defuse the situation, having seen my capabilities. But the next second, there was no need for him to do anything. I kicked, sending Popper tumbling to the ground. Krantz called out, Popper, I want a word with you. Krantz. I patted his shoulder. I whispered softly in his ear. I don't care about the little tricks you play behind my back, but if you show up in front of me again, I will make sure you're not going to graduate with all your limbs intact. Watching Krantz's terrified expression, a slight pleasure of revenge rose in my heart. Life here is definitely going to be more interesting than in my previous life. Inside the library, Instructor Sirica appeared at her usual spot. She thought to herself, a calamity or a hero? I'll have to watch this cyan vert closely. As her fingers brushed across the bookshelf, she realized something was missing. There should have been an unpopular book here that no one cared about, but now that spot was empty. A voice suddenly said, Are you looking for this book? Sirica was shocked. I was approached without noticing. The kid just stood there quietly, almost as if he didn't exist. It seems, the Chancellor's assessment of him was too conservative. As Sirica turned around, she pretended as if nothing was amiss. What are you doing here? You know students aren't allowed in here, right? Your name is Cyan, isn't it? Could I have that, please? It's really important for my research. I handed over the book. This one, of course, it was meant to be given to you. But in the next instant, a flash of light passed, and the book was split in two. I narrowly dodged the swift strike. Sirica's wrist was shrouded in a strange black mist, but I had already anticipated this turn of events. I called out her full name, Sirica Nakriti. This left her immensely surprised. On the surface, she is an instructor at the academy, but in reality, she is the leader of the Mist. In my previous life, she made a rather mundane first impression on me. However, she showed extra care and praise for my dark attribute talents. For a kid like me, who suffered constant humiliation, this affirmation was incredibly precious. Thus, I always thought of her as a light in my dark life, but I was only deluding myself. It was a trap. Those glasses are just a facade. Her role as instructor is a guise. Her true identity is an assassin. She has hidden herself in the academy where nobles from all over the continent gather. She is the leader of the group of assassins known as the Mist. She removed her glasses and dissipated her aura. Let's have a proper talk in my office. Come with me. Even though I had exposed her identity, her reaction was not as panicked as I had anticipated, but surprisingly calm. Arriving at her office, the setting was the same as in my previous life. As soon as the tea was served, I took a sip and laughed. I see you've poisoned the tea. Of course, things couldn't be going this smoothly. She didn't mind being exposed, instead smiling. Don't worry, it's not lethal. It'll just corrodes the organs a bit. Lucky for me, I've been made immune by drinking tons of monster blood and eating Emily's horrendous cooking. I responded nonchalantly. Perhaps next time, you should try a stronger poison. She dropped her smile. Very well. Shall we talk now? How did you know about my identity? You not only knew I was receiving operational instructions through that book, but you also accurately found the book's location, Sirica said with a sharp gaze and a probing tone. You're not trying to tell me you're part of the Mist, are you? I countered. Do you need more proof? I see you let your attribute score go to your head. When I was passing Shatran, everyone wondered if one night was enough protection for me. Hearing this, Sirica raised her eyebrow, confused as to why am I saying this. Recently, the number of noble assassinations has spiked. Now they travel with 5 times the usual guards. So, when did the cleansing operation start? Hearing this, Sirica is still in denial. Cleansing? I'm sorry, but I really have no idea what you're talking about. I pointed directly at the truth of the assassination activities. You know, I mean the assassinations. Of course, you're going to regret what you just said. Sirica sneered and her tone was icy. So, are you threatening a student right now? The next second, she exerted force under her feet, leaping up, sending the tea table hurtling directly towards me. I clenched my fists and split the approaching tabletop in two. I think this is sufficient to prove my identity. So, is this your response? However, in the moment my vision was obscured, Sirica had already leaped up, flipping like a swallow with twin blades in hand, launching a back attack. Even if you really are part of the Mist, since I became the leader, it's impossible for there to be a member I don't recognize. Your lies are ineffective against me. The twin blades sliced through the air like wings, their piercing sound tensioning the nerves. You're not getting out here alive. A bloodthirsty madness flickered in Sirica's eyes. Reluctantly, I summoned the demon blade, initially hoping to persuade her through negotiation, but now it seemed there was no other choice. The sound of clashing blades was incessant. Both of us were assassins who fought with speed. A moment's distraction could prove fatal. Sirica incredulously looked at the weapon in my hand, her astonishment no longer concealable. That blade in your hands. Could it be the magic sword Kairam? That's a sword that can be wielded only by the one chosen by air. I stood my ground calmly and said, do you believe me now? I know that the mist is looking for a successor. Exposed again in her organization's top secret mission, Sirika broke out in cold sweat. How do you know that? The person you've been looking for is standing right in front of you. Now please take me to air. After presenting air's token, Sirika took me to the organization's secret base. Who would have thought that the mist's altar would be in the same city as the Royal Academy, teeming with masters? She unlocked the seal, and the door immediately swung open. My calm demeanor once again refreshed her understanding. I see you're not surprised that this is where the mist hideout is. Then she pointed out the way to the altar, telling me the rest of the journey must be undertaken alone. Just as I stepped into the secret chamber, I realized I had entered the domain of the dark god air. This place isolates all energy fluctuations, the space appearing much more expansive and deep than it seems from the outside. Suddenly, a strange noise in the air caught my attention. Now let's see. 2 at my 4 o'clock direction and 3 at my 11 o'clock direction. I precisely knocked down the incoming hidden weapons, and the shadows lurking in the darkness launched their attack on me at the same time. I should have anticipated that things wouldn't be this simple, but this kind of welcome ceremony, is it not a bit too much? I quickly dodged out of the encirclement, wildly swinging the demon blade in my hand, the clanging sounds echoing in the night. Thanks to the boost from my dark attributes, even in such darkness, I could sharply catch every attack, but I still held back, not needing to kill them. The hidden weapons that I knocked away kept ricocheting in the narrow spaces, already sending the assassins hidden in the dark into a panic. Everything happened too fast, like a hawk pouncing on a rabbit. The masked assassins no longer dared to hold back. Together they launched their secret technique, blind spot formation. All the assassins gave up their hidden weapons and charged at me together, blocking all paths of escape. I was well aware of this formation. Once surrounded, I would only face endless deadly moves. I furiously gathered magical power, and just the initial stance already had them terrified. Yet they still couldn't believe that a child could use that legendary killing move, Murderous Wave. This is a secret technique unique to the Mist Assassins, manifesting bloodthirst in a physical form to attack. The murderous intent was so intense that it was rare even among those of my level. With just one strike, all the assassins were knocked unconscious, except for this one. Is he a higher ranked assassin? I took a deep breath, again gathering magical power, preparing to unleash the misty blade, the giant tree root. But he suddenly charged at me. In the next second, the violent collision interrupted my technique. What? She managed to interrupt me. I looked at her in disbelief, her mask slowly sliding off her face. A familiar voice spoke. You master all my sword techniques, whether it's the swordsmanship or the secret techniques. Too mature for a child. I can't hold back anymore. Show me your true power. It was Sirika. I had seen this kind of gaze before, the intense desire for battle mixed with bloodthirsty instincts. She had fallen into madness. I again launched the 8 stance of the black mist. Violent barrage. A flurry of sword light flashed by. You are comfortable with both the misty blade and black mist. My interest in you only grows, Cyan. However, this time, my aim was not to win, but to escape quickly. In my past life, I had seen too many such madmen, driven by the instinct to fight and thirst for blood. She would not stop until one of us fell and lost our lives. However, my avoidance only fueled her combativeness even more. Sirika let out a maniacal laugh. Her steps were the mist steps. Her swordplay was mist sword, but her moves were even more frenzied. Misty blade, foggy tempest. The storm was coming, and she actually wanted to use a rapid group attack to shred me. I'm not as crazy as she is, but since there was no way out, and we were in Air's realm where I didn't need to worry about revealing my power, I was ready to win, even if it meant having to kill her. Misty sword, demon form reveal. The next second, my eyes widened, and I suddenly blacked out, collapsing to the ground. A phantom slowly solidified into form. I knew this would happen. You take it easy for a moment. The demon blade Kairam, arms crossed, looking disdainfully forward. I didn't want to interfere, but what's going on here? You're a follower of Air, so you recognize me, right? Sirika quickly knelt down in submission. Yes. Oh, magic sword Kairam. And how do you explain this situation? You claim to worship Air, and yet you attack my master. I was just trying to confirm whether this child is truly Air's successor. It is my duty as a leader. Kairam's magic exploded, his voice icy. What need is there? All you have to do is call your god, and if you refuse to do that, I'm going to take that as a challenge toward me. Sirika quickly changed the subject. I think we should focus on the successor issue now. It was only then that Kairam noticed me on the ground, bleeding from the nose. What are you doing? Why are you halfway dead? Sirika's explanation followed. You have manifested all physical forms, but this comes at the cost of consuming your master's life force. Such efficiency can hardly be called clever. Kairam ignored her sarcastic tone, still trying to awaken my senses with violence. You've drunk so much demon blood. Can't you withstand a little loss of life force? Sirika interrupted him again. You just mentioned challenge, didn't you? She stood up, her demeanor unshaken. As a master of the Mist Sword and the leader of the Mist Assassins, I never refuse a challenge. If Lord Kairam truly wishes to battle me, it would be my honor. I cannot refuse. This madwoman is actually challenging Kairam to his face. Both individuals, troublesome and violent women, also possess the same tenacity and indomitable spirit. Hey, you're okay again. What do you think you're doing substantiating yourself like that? You just wait here quietly. I'm going to teach this cheeky brat a lesson. I'd be honored, mighty Karam. Sirika happily answered. I'm not going to show you any mercy, even if you beg for it. Only if I could be lucky to reach such a point. The tension between the two was palpable, but a commanding voice interrupted them. Enough. Both immediately ceased their actions. I watched as a portal suddenly appeared. I was looking at it carefully. Bring the successor to the altar. The voice continues. Seeing this, I can't help but smile and thought to myself, so we finally meet, the god of darkness.